I last visited Vietnam back in 1996. All I can remember is bouncing around in buses over the worst roads I had ever seen. But for several years now, I've heard that Vietnam has some of the best road riding tours on the planet. So when I got an invite to join Jason from Vietnam Motorbike Tours for 3 days, I jumped at it. The plan? A day's scenic ride down the coastline, then into the central highlands, where, in Jason's words, the real Vietnam begins. Our starting point? Nha Trang. On my last trip, this was a quiet port town, but it's now a tourist mecca resembling Miami or surfers' paradise. Amazing food, great beaches, and the place lights up like a Christmas tree at night. It is interesting, and learning how to ride in Asian traffic is actually a pile of fun after the tour guys gave us some instructions on how the chaos works. But I'm keen to escape the tourist route and see the real Vietnam. Start with a run along the coastline. Incredible ocean views on this main highway that links Saigon in the south with Hanoi in the north. And the highway has changed so much in the last 20 years. This used to be a narrow, potholed road where you were constantly zigzagging around the rice harvests spread out to dry in the sun. Now, it's a road rider's paradise, snaking its way up through the mountain ranges and only occasionally going straight and flat across the plains. So why is a dirt bike junkie like me riding road bikes? And not just any road bikes, but a Chinese-built Harley-Davidson look-alike with a 200cc engine. Well, last year I did a dirt bike tour of Cambodia, and the organiser, Jason Thatcher, uses his tours to fund low-cost housing for Cambodian families living in extreme poverty. He also runs these road bike tours in Vietnam to raise funds, and I've become a volunteer worker for the charity. Last time I was over there, we popped out for this 3-day ride. The weird thing is, I have always found road riding boring, and I've always disliked Harley-Davidsons and cruisers. So the idea of riding a Chinese 200cc version was frankly appalling. And yet this turned out to be an epic 3-day ride. The coastal views, stunning. And the next 2 days will be in the central highlands, twisting up and down through the mountains while dodging water buffalo, chickens, and all sorts of obstacles. And strangely, everyone I rode with agreed that these Lifan brand cruisers are the ideal bike for the job. Incredibly comfortable, reliable, and just enough power to have fun, but also stay out of trouble on these tight, unpredictable roads in the mountains. A little bonus today, we get to do some dirt riding after all. On his days off, Jason regularly goes exploring to see if he can find interesting detours and places to visit. We explore this little side road to see if it might be worth including in his regular tours. Once we hit the dirt, we realise it will be too gnarly for the tours, but for John anyway. This would be so much fun on a dirt bike, but the low ground clearance and road tyres make this a hairy experience, at least for me. Jason? He rapidly disappears into the distance. He has bounced down all sorts of crazy tracks on these little cruises. Eventually, the track just ends at a farmer's field, so we retrace our steps and head for a small local town to bed down for the night. One of the great things about getting off the tourist track is getting to see how the everyday Vietnamese people live. We will eat and stay at some fancy places over the next 2 days, but tonight it's basic and I'm loving it. Eating with the locals in an open air market and of course sampling the local beer in one of their finest establishments.
Really upmarket and hit the best pub in town. How's the beer, mate? Yen Trung.
Gold wrapped and all. Cheers, mate.
Hang around, guys. We head into the beautiful Central Highlands over the next 2 days. See you later, or as the Vietnamese say, hang up lai.